Hello to everyone. I hope you're doing well. Uh, we are going to share this Dhamma talk with you, and I want to read this sutta, Majjhima Nikaya number 131. I will share the screen with you now. So I will use the Bhikkhu Bodhi translation, and the title of this sutta is One Fortunate Attachment. So we are going to see what is the meaning of this. There are other translations for the title. In Spanish is One Who Loves the Solitude, um, because the person who enjoy the solitude is uh, generally recognized in the Buddhist perspective like someone who has abandoned the world to cultivate their mind for the achievement of the fully liberation. So, this have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was living at Sawati in Jetas Grove and at Apindika's Park. There he addresses the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, Venerable Sir, they reply, the Blessed One said this. Bhikkhus, I shall teach your summary on exposition of one who has a fortunate attachment. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir. The bhikkhus replied, the Blessed One said this, let not a person revive the past or on the future build his hopes, for the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arising state, let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today, the effort must be made. Tomorrow, death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away, but one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has one fortunate attachment. So, um, in the Spanish presentation of this is a poem, and it looks like a poem. And if we hear carefully in the last line, it is he, the faithful sage, has said, who has one fortunate attachment. So the peaceful sage is an epitaph of for the Buddha, and uh, the solitude are the condition to cultivate the mind. But when we said solitude, we don't say that you have to be away of people, but you have to be your own mind as an island. That is one of the last advice that the Buddha gives to their students. So, but let's start for the beginning. Let not a person revive the past or on the future build his hope. So, for the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him each presently arising state. Let him know that and be sure of it. So, this is an instruction of the Buddha, is very clear. He he teaches that we have to be very careful about where our mind goes. So, if our mind is not present here and now, the mind will start to wander and generally maybe wander to the past. Oh, what what was I in the past, or I will go to the future, planning things, all kind of things, and this generally brings some kind of nostalgia or melancholic state if I return to the past, or it will be some kind of unsettledness or maybe anxiety if I will think about the future. So instead, with insight, let him sit each presently arising state. This is very important because the Buddha is show us that the meditator has to be aware of what's going on in his or her own mind. And the next line said, let him know that and be sure of it. So we have to be very attentive about what's going on in our mind, because that will be the foundation for future's uh, state of mind. And this is related with the first step of the noble path, at least the mundane noble path that is grounded in the conditionality. So be in the present is not just be in the present, but be in the present with an open and gentle mind. This is very important. Many times I have seen in different retreats that people are supposedly uh, in the present, but his face is contract. And you can notice that the person is a struggle with her own attention and mindfulness, or try to force the mind to concentrate in what they are doing. This is not the present moment, and this is not a wholesome state of mind. So when we're referring that we have to be aware of the presently arising state, we have to be aware of the quality of our mind regarding that present state. So loving kindness or compassion or uh, altruistic joy or equanimity are very good basis for the observation of the mind. After that, said invincibly and unshakably. What is invincibly? Who is a person who never is defeated? I think that I reflect on this aspect of the sutta, and I think that the person who was never uh, defeat defeated is the person who never fight, and the person who never fights is the person who is in his mind is full of loving kindness. So you don't have to fight, you don't have to resist. You have an open and loving mind that is not seeking for any kind of conflict and therefore is invincible. Unshakably is the other aspect that is really important, that is the mind is equanimous. So when we understand the first step of the noble path, that at least is we start to understand that is a condition, and the effect of that condition, cause and effect, we start to put in our mind a really important thing, that we want to care about the quality of our state of mind. And this brings us the importance of the metta, karuna, mudita, or upekkha. And then when we little by little develop this state, the mind will be growth in equanimity. And so we have these three things: the first step of the noble path, right effort or the 6 R's, and mindfulness. So a loving mind is invincible and an equanimous mind is unshakably. And then said, today the effort must be made. This is really important because tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his orders away. So sometimes we have the fantasy that we have a future. Oh, I will meditate tomorrow. Oh, I will take a retreat next year. But these are all like the first line of this poem. On the future spills his hopes. And we don't know what's going on in the next second. So the Buddha give us some important advice. We have to make the effort now. There is no such thing like Well, in the future, I will try to get more time, and then I'm going to give me the space to practice meditation every day. No, we have to give the space right now to meditate every day because it's wholesome and because we feel better when we meditate. This is important too if we want to maybe take a retreat, a 10 days retreat. We have to make a determination to go deep in our practice, and 10-day retreat is a excellent opportunity to do that because we don't know what's going on in the future. And this is also a very skillful way to start to understand that we can control what's going on in the future. And the plan in mind, the plan who is calculate the conceit, is generally the veil that keep us far from the present moment, and especially for a mind that is mindful and open. Then said, but who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, is he, the peaceful sage, as said, who has an fortunate attachment. So here's the last line, that the person who trains with with determination constantly and with an open mind, with a gentle mind. This is really important to understand. It's not try to train in the way that we feel the contraction of the mind. This is not a good practice. It's a practice that brings us more suffering. But different is be open and generous with our time and meditate with an open mind and just be mindful to see what is going on in our mind during the meditation and during our daily lives. It's not only during the meditation, but it's in our daily activities that we have to train our mindfulness and this be aware of each presently arising state and recognize all this state like it's not me, it's not mine, it's not myself. So, how bhikkhus does one revive the past? Thinking, I had such a material form in the past, one finds delight in that, thinking, I such feeling in the past, I had such perception in the past, I had such formations in the past, I had such consciousness in the past, one finds delight in that. That is how one revives the past. So here the Buddha is just pointed out that when we revive the past, we generally revive through any of these five aggregates. How how I am when I was a kid or when I was a young person, or what was my feeling in the past or my perception. All these kind of things generally are part of some kind of explanation, some kind of attachment that we have, and generally we use the past to try to explain what's going on in the present. And this kind of habit tends to be very, very hard for our mind. We don't feel well because we justify our present through our past, and this is really far from being aware of what's going on in the mind. We're just trying to justify, not to be aware of what is our state of mind here and now. So, if we are caught in this kind of thinking or speculation, we just have to apply the 6 R's and return to loving kindness or whatever object of meditation that you are practicing. And how? Because does one not revive the past, thinking I such material form in the past, one not find delight in that. And they continue with the different aggregates. So the Buddha said that we don't want find the light or we don't find the light. The light have to do with, again, I think of anything of the five aggregates, and start to be enchanted by that. And when I was young, I was happy, I was stronger, or I have more beauty, I don't have illness or whatever, and start to compare this kind of thoughts that compare the past situation with the present situation is grounding for suffering. So if any thought arise in our mind that is regarding to the past, okay, there is no problem with that. But if we start to justify, if we start to think about over and over and again, dukkha will be present. Why? Because we try to make permanent something that is not. And this is the same in the two next verses, that is it. And how because that one build up hope upon the future, thinking I might have such material form in the future, one finds delight in that. Thinking I might have such feeling, such perception, such formation, such consciousness in the future. And how does not build up hope upon the future, thinking I might have such material form in the future. One does not find delight in that, thinking I may have such feeling in the future, I may have such perception in the future, such formation, such consciousness in the future, and not find delight in that. So this is the other part of the coin, the future. This is related to what I said before. I want to start meditate tomorrow or in 2 weeks because now I don't have time. And this is a delusion because we don't know what's going on in 2 weeks. But when I think that I have the hope of give me some time to meditate in the future, I feel delight, I feel better. Because the hope in this case is is not a good thing, because it's rooted in craving. I crave that something in the future will be changed, and that gives me the possibility to meditate. Instead of that, we have to be able to see this craving and let it go, relax, smile, and back to our loving mind, and give us the generous possibility to meditate right now, or be aware and give us the possibility to do whatever I doing right now, cooking, cleaning the floor, uh, driving, in the loving way. So this gap between the present and the past and the present and the future, this gap is the issue here. The gap is where I build some expectations, and the expectations are craving. Generally, we don't see this like a problem. We just stumble with this, with the result of that expectation. Um, in this morning, I share some in the breakfast with some student after the meditation. We talk about this, that one student of mine, she said that she was pushing too hard and she wants to take a step back and soften the mind, and that is correct. That is a very good a practical advice. But another perspective to to see the meditation process is just why do is be aware of the expectation that we bring to our meditation. If when I'm going to sit, I'm just have the inner determination to be open, no matter what's happened. I have two works: be gently with my object of meditation and apply the 6 R's when a hindrance arises. And the meditation will take care by itself. I don't need to do anything else. If I am aware of that state of mind before the meditation, maybe the meditation take a different path, more tranquil, more gentle, and more loving. So there are some advices that we could apply, of course, practically in the meditation or in the daily life, but also this has to bring us some kind of reflection, wise reflection about the conditions in which we realize our activities. So, and how bhikkhus, if one's vanquished in regard to presently arising state, here bhikkhus, an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who has no regard for true men and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, regards material form as a self, or self as possessed of material form, or material form as in self, or self as in material form. He regards feeling, perception, formations, consciousness as self, or a self as possesses of consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as is in a consciousness. That is how one is vanquished in regard to pleasantly arising state. So, in this paragraph, the Buddha is talking about an untaught ordinary person. So, uh, generally, this means that this person is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma. Maybe is in a beginner that not understand what is the process of meditation, or have not knowledge because uh, they they never crossed with the Dhamma before. But when any of us at some point with we identify with any of these uh, five aggregates and start to identify with the form, the feeling, perception, formation, or consciousness, and there is some kind of identification as a self, or a self inside any of these five aggregates, or any of these aggregates inside the self, any of these identification bring dukkha. Why is that? Because we can't see with wisdom how presently arising state are in the mind. So when we see with wisdom, and that is the next paragraph, uh, we see a different picture of our aggregates. So this and how bhikkhus is one invincible in regarding to presently arising state. So in the previous paragraph, we are defeated by this presently arising state. And why we are defeated? Because we try to fight. We try to resist what's going on in the present experience. But if we see any of these five aggregates, form, feeling, perception, formation, consciousness, as it is, that is, they are not me, not mine, not myself, and we apply gently the 6 R's and return to our object of meditation, we won't be defeated because we don't fight. We accept the present moment, we accept that we can control what is arising in our mind, but we also could decide where I want to lead my attention. This is what in the previous video we talk about unwise attention or wise attention, Ioniso manasikara or Ioniso manasikara. And this, the ninth paragraph, is one invincible in regard to presently state. Here Bhikkhus, a well-taught noble disciple who has regard for noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, who has regard for true men and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, does not regard material form as self, or self as possessed of material form, or material form as in self, or self as in material form. He does not regard feeling, perception, formation, consciousness as self, or self as possessed of the other aggregate, or the other aggregate as in self, or the self as the other aggregate. That is how one is invincible in regard to presently arising state. So, because we don't need to fight about, or sorry, we don't need to fight against the hindrances, any state of mind that arises in our mind that during the meditations is not our object of meditation, we just gently have to let go. And when we start to recognize this unwholesome state, we just start to regain our mindfulness and we stop thinking about these hindrances, so we release and then we relax. The relaxation must be very gentle and very open. We don't have to try to, we are not in a rush to come back to our object of meditation. So we relax, we re-smile, and this brings up a more uplifted state of mind. And with that uplifted mind, we return to our object of meditation. So when we feel in that way, when we mind is full of loving kindness and open, we start to develop equanimity. And then it's very interesting, this word invincible, because uh, many times the meditator feels that, oh, I sat about an hour and it will be I made 50 times 6 hours. Yes, this is an uncomfortable experience because I have to continuously have to bring my mind to loving kindness. But the positive way of this is you had made 50 good choices because you train 50 times right effort and you train 50 times the noble path. So the hindrances is not bad. It's a very good thing to abandon. And when this is when we develop this kind of attitude, we start to feel that the hindrances or the identification are not so intense. And it's not like the hindrance is intense or strong. It's our reaction that is intense or strong to the hindrances. So if we have this previous perspective that not fight with the hindrances, just relax, recognize, release, relax, gentle smile, and return to our objects of meditation, we start to feel unshakable. So, unshakable is equanimous. And eventually, we're going to develop a deep equanimity that is disenchantment. We start to see the thing as they are. And this disenchantment is a very beautiful word because we don't have to see again the same show, the same old show again and again. And when we find this kind of space and openness, we feel very tranquil. We feel dispassionate about all formation and all uh, activities that the mind show us. This brings us liberation. The liberation is a negative concept because we liberate from something. We have something, and the liberation is there is no more that something. We liberate from something, for rarefied everything. It's just action. It's just cause and effect. And this will bring us nibbana, the cessation of suffering. So here the Buddha uh, state this poem again that is beautiful. Let not a person revive the past or on the future build his hopes, for the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arising state, let him know that and be sure of it invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may become, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his orbs away. But one who dwells thus on ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, is he, the peaceful sage, has said, one who has fortunate attachment. That is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. I hope you are enjoyed this talk. I will share some merit with you. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have acquired for the acquisition of all kind of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May the Lord protect the Buddha dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day.